This is how you succeed. This is how you be productive. This is how you do this. This is how you do that. This is how you be happy. Is it? I've been consuming personal development content of all kinds, from podcasts to reading books to listening to YouTube channels to following social media pages and all those kind of things for years now, trying to become better, trying to improve myself, trying to elevate my life. And don't get me wrong, I have done those things, but the way that I consume content, which is also the way that I now have been starting to create my personal development content, has left me in a place where my environment and my circumstances and my entire life does not match up with the person that I now am today. And quite frankly, with all of the transformation that I have experienced, I'm not even sure that I know exactly who that person I am today is exactly. And that's all because everything started happening so fast. The transformation that we experience when we consume all of this personal development content is happening so fast and at such a substantial rate. A lot of personal development creators are given tips and tricks and methods and systems about how to do this and how to do that, without giving us the actual full journey of how those things happen. Like the full journey of, building your confidence, the full journey of building your self-love, the full journey of, getting finances in order. We get all of these tips and these tricks and these methods and these systems, and we apply them to our lives so quickly that we then have to catch up with our state of being, with our state of who we actually are. So we end up catching ourselves having to backtrack and kind of figure out who we are throughout that process, because now our circumstances, our life, kind of who we are is not really matching up all together. It's not coming together like it's supposed to, because we're going through these things so quickly. The truth of the matter is, a lot of these tips and tricks and systems and methods actually take a lot of freaking time to actually complete. It takes a lot of time to complete, and it actually takes a lot more commitment than what we think when we first go into all of this stuff. And the thing about it is, when we watch these creators, we see that they already have the results, and so in our minds we automatically want that instant gratification. We want instant results. We want to do this system, and we want it to be clean cut and clear, and this is what it is now, and everything is all good after we've applied that one thing to our lives. But the truth of the matter is, every single system, every single step, even coming to the conclusion of what the step was for that creator, took a journey to figure out. So it's also going to take us a journey to get to that place where we can actually carry out those steps. We can actually carry out that method, where we can actually be consistent with it. The results weren't even immediate for any of us. And I feel that's a lot of things that that is one of the main things that people don't realize when they consume this content, is that it's not all going to be right then and there. And I feel that's what makes it harder for people to actually stick to what it is that they want to commit to when it comes to personal growth. The whole basis of my argument is that when I do my personal development content, I want to bring people along the journey with me. We'll be going along the journey together. You will see exactly just how long it really takes, how much work and effort it really takes, how much time and energy is being spent into it. So that way you can jump on it if you want to as well. And, you don't get discouraged if you don't get the results right away. If, you stumble, you hit some bumps on the road, because that is really what happens during these journeys before all of these methods and tips and tricks and systems are actually put together. And don't get me wrong, there are some people who can, learn all of these things and simply apply them to their lives and be good with it. And a lot of those people are already in a state of being. They maybe have already been on a journey, or they've been on the journey for a very long time, and now they're able to just apply these things to their lives. But I know that for most of us, myself included, a lot of these things are really hard, and it's even harder to be doing it all alone. And another thing about the content that we share is that by the time creators are ready to, share what it is that they learned, they're not in that place anymore. We're sharing things that happened in our past that we've learned, and at best, we're sharing what it is that we remember. We don't hold those same emotions anymore. We're not in that place. Times change, circumstances change. Everything can become different depending on what's going on in the world today. Methods, advice, and information can get updated, and there may even be simpler or easier ways to get things done that we had to get done in the past. I think that people will benefit most from going along with people's journeys in real time. So that way they can jump on it together if they want to, and everything will literally be up to date and it will be relevant. And for creators, I feel it's better for us to take people along with us on our journeys, because then all of the emotions are raw. we are in those emotions at that time. We can be our most authentic selves at that time as well, rather than trying to remember what we felt like, rather than, you know, trying to put ourselves back in that place. Because quite frankly, sometimes we might not even want to be back in that place. Sometimes a journey can be so emotionally tolling that it can be almost traumatic to put yourself back in that place. And so doing it in real time while you're going through it allows you to just be raw, to be real, to feel that emotion, to feel that passion, to inspire people on a much higher level than if you're trying to explain things to them from what you can just remember. And don't get me wrong, people can definitely benefit from past stories, from past successes, from past experiences, and even from telling people like what we can remember. Like, people will and can definitely benefit for that. And I'm not trying to, like, you know, down talk anybody's method of personal development at all. I definitely just feel like there needs to be a combination of everything when you're going on your personal development journey. Past successes, past mistakes, past experiences, but also things that are relevant, things that people are going through right now, because we are all being impacted by the same things when it's happening at that time. Because quite frankly, it needs to be a combination, because things are changing. And I won't say that, like, you know, every single method will be improved or every single thing will be outdated once you get to that point, but you will have the biggest impact when you are being the most relevant. And I feel like I have to keep clarifying, because I don't want nobody to feel like I'm throwing no shade, not at all. Because a lot of the personal development content that I have consumed have been tips and tricks and systems and methods and all of that stuff. But like I said, it has left me in a place to where I now have to kind of like backtrack, and now I need to focus on making sure that my environment and what's around me, the people around me, my wardrobe, like the systems I have in place, match up with the person that I am today, because I was consuming the content at such a rapid rate that, you know, I was kind of skipping out on the journey. And I feel like the journey is like the most important part, like the journey to learning these things about ourselves, the journey to being able to, you know, build up that confidence and consistency to keep a method going and keep doing stuff like that. So I'm not trying to, you know, talk down on anybody's methods or anything like that. All I'm saying is that I do feel like it would be much more beneficial for everybody involved when it is in real time, when it is the most relevant, and when a creator can be their most authentic selves in that given moment, when they're currently going through the struggle that their audience is going through, and they can feel them on a deeper level than trying to remember what that thing feels like. Even if somebody is watching a journey from the past, so like for instance, it was recorded and posted when the creator was going through that thing currently, like they were recording it and posting it in real time, and maybe somebody comes across it like a year later or some years later, I feel like the content then will still be better, because the emotion is raw, the feelings are raw, the circumstances are current that person is in. The content itself will be more inspirational for the people that are in that situation, because the feelings are raw and they will feel that, and that is exactly how they feel. And the only reason why I feel like that's important is because I feel like when people watch content, they can look at a creator and easily see that you've gotten to your destination already and say, oh, well, that's easy for you to say because you did this back when the market was better. Or that's easy for you to say because you did that back when prices were so high. Or well, that's easy for you to say because you did that back when XYZ was accessible. Like, there are excuses that can be made. And while obviously as a creator, that is not your responsibility, not even a little bit. But if your goal is to have as much impact as you possibly can, then your goal should also be to limit any excuses that can be made, and being current and being relevant and doing it in real time when your circumstances or whatever is going on in the world around you is impacting you just like it's impacting your audience, then that gives them less excuses. I often hear that you are in best position to help the person that you were yesterday, or you only have to be one step ahead of somebody to, help that person. And I don't disagree, but I also want people to, entertain the idea of what is wrong with a creator being exactly where their audience is right now and them all going through it together rather than going that thing alone. Another thing that I feel like I want to do differently on my channel is really speak from my heart. I feel like in the past, or like when I first started making videos, I would look at other creators and kind of do what they were doing. I would look at their banners and kind of make my banners the way their banners were, make sure that my thumbnails looked how their thumbnails were. And granted, like I'm saying, I'm still not throwing no shade, like for anybody that's doing that, like that's perfectly fine. Like it is perfectly fine to do what works. But for me personally, I really want to speak from my heart, and I want to be more authentic, and I want to express my own personal creativity. And I also feel as though I always feel like I have to like create a list, and I have to like, you know, go off a script, or I have to, you know, check off these bullet points and make sure that I don't miss anything, because I'm trying to remember everything that I've gone through and everything that I want to communicate to everybody, you know, with the best of my ability. But I'm just trying to remember, you know, if I'm not in that place anymore, it's hard for me, or not even hard for me, because obviously some emotions are so strong that you never forget them. But I definitely feel like there's only so much you can remember. You know, it's not the same thing. It's not that same rawness, that same realness, you know, of you actually going through that journey than when you've already met your destination. And obviously, like, they're my stories, like they're, you know, conversations that I am holding. But I feel like the conversations can be more authentic. They can be more real. They can feel more real. They can feel more inspiring if I am in that place right then and there, because it will also be easier for me to speak from my heart than to be going down a bullet list or making a list and, you know, telling people what they should do, when I could just show y'all what I'm doing right here and right now. And obviously it's more easier said than done. And I don't expect everybody to share everything, you know, in real time, because we don't always have the mental capacity, or we're not always in the mental space to share every little single thing and be, you know, as vulnerable as we would like to be. We don't always, you know, have that in us at the time. And that's perfectly fine. That's not what I'm saying that anybody has to do. But I do think that it can be beneficial for your audience if there are some journeys in which you would like to share with them in real time. I think that it would just be a better experience, and that's something that I want to practice personally. And like I said, I ain't throwing no shade. I ain't telling nobody what they should do, what they need to do. I'm really just talking about like my perspective on the topic, and on the topic of, you know, personal development, on the topic on creators, on being inspirational, on actually having an impact on people and helping people. Like, that's just kind of like what I've been pondering on, and that's kind of just like the way that I want to do things. So don't feel like this is something that you got to do. I'm just giving my opinion. So as a personal development creator, I do not want to just give tips and tricks and methods and systems. And mind you, I said just, because I'm not going to sit here and say that sometimes those things won't come out. Like I said, I won't always have the mental capacity to share everything in real time. But I do hope that, or I do want some of my content to be in real time. I want some of my content to be for some of the people who are exactly where I am, but just don't want to do it alone, or who just need a community, or who just want to see what other people are doing that are on the same page as them. I do want to have that kind of real time, that real time accessibility, or give that real time accessibility for the community that I hope to build. Like I said, I want to leave as little space as possible for excuses, so that I can have the biggest impact as possible for the people who decide to watch my content. So whatever I am going through, or whatever I am working through at the time, I hope that it is something that I can share with my audience. A lot of it is stuff that I do plan to share with my audience. I do plan to be vulnerable. I know for some people it's really hard to be vulnerable. Shoot, for me, it's really hard to be vulnerable. So, you know, I get it. I definitely get it. But I feel like my purpose is to have the biggest impact that I possibly can. And that is going to require some real vulnerability. That is going to require me showing my shortcomings and showing, you know what I'm saying? It's going to require me showing the process rather than just talking about and recapping the process once I actually get to my destination. Like, don't feel as though you have to get to your destination to share your story or to share what you're going through. You can show it to people in real time and be so inspirational. You can be so inspirational going through it in real time, because not only are you going to help the people who are going through exactly what you are going through right now in real time, you are going to still help those people who are looking at it from, you know, who are looking at it, you know, from a couple of steps behind, or who just aren't there yet. Like, you can help so many more people when you widen that up and you know, decide to be vulnerable and, you know, do things in real time. You can talk to more people. You don't have to wait. You don't have to wait for people to get that content. You don't have to wait until you reach that destination. So yes, y'all, I will be coming with better content soon. So don't forget to subscribe if you're interested in any journey that I have coming, because like I said, I'm definitely in a place right now where I feel like my environment does not match who I am today. You know, whether it's the people around me, whether it's just my wardrobe, whether it's my desk space, my apartment, whatever. I feel like there are a lot of changes that I need to make, and that'll probably be a journey that I decide to share, is me kind of figuring out what it is that I want around me. I guess kind of like rediscovering who I am now that I've gone through all of this transformational growth. And yeah, that's what it'll be. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned, because we will be going on a journey together. Okay, and yeah, so thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.